welcome to everyone who's joining us this evening for the Women in Engineering Career Mentorship Program Kickoff. My name is Daniela Cross, and I'm a member of the Women in Engineering Committee. I work at the University of Waterloo in the Faculty of Engineering. And we have a great group of panelists here to tell you more about the program and answer your questions. We're going to be using the Q&A button tonight if you do have questions, so please feel free to type those in. After the slides, we will be able to do some live Q&A as well, so please keep those questions coming and we'll be able to ask our panelists any questions that you may have about the program. I'd like to turn things over to Mihaela Valasa now, who will be starting us off and sharing more about women in engineering at the University of Waterloo. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Daniela. I wanted to give a special shout out to all of the Women in Engineering Committee members and support staff that have made this program a reality. So welcome to the Women in Engineering Mentorship Kickoff. Hopefully this session will answer some of your questions about expectations and how to handle tough situations and so on. So let's get started. So first things first, to kind of get used to the environment of this meeting, specifically the Q&A messaging function, as well as to get things started on a light note, we thought we should use this opportunity to launch an icebreaker. And there will be prizes, so do make sure that you're close to a keyboard. So the idea is that we'll have about 5 different pixelated pictures of famous people or famous places from around the campus. And whoever guesses first what the image is or who the person in the image is will get a prize. So don't be shy. If you have multiple guesses, keep typing and hopefully we'll actually get a winner. If not, we'll just have to select someone at random at the end. So let's get started with our first icebreaker. Let's see if someone can guess this one. So who is this famous person? Oh my gosh. All right, I didn't make it tough enough. All right, let's see if everyone guessed right. So everybody guessed our Dean Mary Wells. Awesome. So now you'll see it's kind of a who types the fastest, probably, because I didn't make these too tough. We'll see. So let's go to the next one. All right, so who can guess what famous, oh my gosh. Okay, so we have some mix of E7 and E5. So let's see who got it right. Awesome, so it's the E5 wing. All right, wow, everybody's typing really fast. So let's see next. Who is this famous character on campus? Awesome. I thought this was going to be the toughest, to be honest, but now that I'm looking at it, it's not that tough to guess. So it is Mr. Goose. So we'll go on to the next one. Awesome. So the Q&A works. So what is this building? Oh, it's too easy, guys. Next time, please don't vote me to be the icebreaker person. It's too easy. Awesome. So it's Dana Porter. And next, okay, this may be tough. Oh no, it wasn't tough at all. All right, so it's DC. Super. Awesome. So we'll now move to a bit of a Zoom poll. So the first question in the poll is to try to see if you've been able to get in touch with your mentor and mentee. So if everyone can try out the poll feature, hopefully everyone has it in front of them as a pop-up. All right. Okay, so hopefully everybody was able to vote. If you had challenges with the poll feature, do type that in the Q&A. So then let's move on to our next section, which is talking a little bit about the Women in Engineering Committee and who are we and what is the mission statement for women in engineering at the University of Waterloo. So really, Women in Engineering at the University of Waterloo, we are an organization that really strives to support and empower female engineers, either researchers, staff, or faculty, and most importantly, students at the undergraduate and graduate levels, while also looking to inspire the next generation of women to pursue careers in engineering. So how do we do that? So next, for instance, when we are looking to inspire the next generation of women to pursue careers in engineering, we support events such as the Engineering Badge Day, Go Eng Girl, Go Code Girl, the Catalyst Conference, the Engineering Science Quest, and many other outreach activities. So we affiliate with the engineering outreach teams to be able to support those, to really target women that are looking, or girls that are looking to pursue careers in engineering, and support that vision for them. And also we're looking to support researchers, faculty, and staff, as well as undergraduate and graduate students to be successful in engineering. And specifically, part of that is this Women in Engineering Mentorship program. In terms of the women in engineering community, we are really inclusive, and hopefully also our Women in Engineering committee is a reflection of that. We encourage participation regardless of gender, orientation, or background, and all are welcome to engage. And specifically, there's a link there at the bottom that essentially guides you to volunteer opportunities. So if you're interested to be engaged and support the Women in Engineering community, do follow that link, and we'll be able to post it for those interested as well in the Q&A. So really, the committee itself is a smaller subset of the Women in Engineering community at the University of Waterloo. So the committee itself has representation from undergraduate students. So we have undergraduate student reps designated by the Women in Engineering Student Committee. We also have graduate student reps, faculty reps, staff, alumni, and engineering outreach reps. So we're really trying to represent the voice of the entire student community within the engineering, within our engineering group. So just as a glimpse at the Women in Engineering committee members, so this is part of the team that has helped put together the event, as well as the mentorship program, alongside with support staff as well. Awesome. So I'll hand it off to Maya and Abby to talk a little bit more about the mentorship program.
Hi, everyone. I'm Maya.
I'm Abby.
And we're both student representatives on the Women in Engineering Committee in terms of mentorship. And we're really excited for this event, so we hope you guys enjoy the mentorship program. So the mentorship program is meant to provide support to female engineering students in terms of this industry that's very male dominated. And we're trying to connect female engineering students with industry leaders in hopes of gaining valuable knowledge and connections and confidence in the field. This is just a little bit about me and Abby. So I'm in 3A of computer engineering, or will be in the spring. Yeah.
And I'm Abby. I'm a 3A biomedical engineering student right now. And a fun fact is I've been trying to learn to whistle for over a year, and I still can't do it. If you want to hear at the end, I can show you after.
So we're going to start off tonight with, what are your goals of what you'd like to get out of this program? There should be a pop-up in a second, I believe.
And just for our attendees, we will be sharing a link in the chat to the Jamboard. So you can actually click on that link that's going to be shared in the chat momentarily, and you can help us fill out the Jamboard.
I misspoke when I meant to pop up. I meant the link.
There we go. I see the link has popped up in the chat now. So if everyone would like to click on that, that will send you into the Jamboard, and then we'll be able to see the results live as they're posted up there. So please feel free to, if you are able to access the file, to type in what your goals are for the program. I think there might be a little bit of an issue with accessing the file for some of us. So if you do want to add your goals as well into the chat, we can take them from there and paste them over onto the Jamboard also. And Vanessa, we are getting a note that the Jamboard is set as view only, so we may need to adjust the settings there.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, it should be okay. Sorry about that.
So once again, if you are having an issue viewing the Jamboard, if you do want to just type in your responses in the chat, we can copy those over from there. And Vanessa, maybe I can read some aloud to you for you to add, because I actually can't access the Jamboard either.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so they're coming in rapid fire. You are fast typers, everyone. Okay, so one goal is to give back as an alumnus who got fantastic mentorship as a student. Okay, awesome. And to help young students adjust to the real engineering world. I might paraphrase some of these just for ease of typing.
Perfect.
Awesome. To instill confidence in new grads to take on any leadership role. Okay. To share knowledge and provide support. To share alternative fields for engineers like asset management. Another goal is industry insight. Wanting to change or increase mentorship opportunities at Waterloo. Share experience as a young engineer. Support someone who might feel like they need some help during this pandemic. So maybe support during the pandemic. Or you're a fast typer, you're excellent. Give back to UW. Help people and serve the community. Stay connected to UW. Share experience in the consulting world. Be there for young women and let them know they're not alone. Connect back to the UW community. Encourage and empower more women to succeed in the world of automotive engineering.
Automotive and
automotive in the world of automotive engineering. Support the transition between student life and industry. Pay it forward. Give back to the community. Make mentorship a positive learning experience for both the mentor and mentee. Share lessons learned. Connect with people who know what it's like to be an engineer. Get a sense of what my career might look like. To provide a mentorship opportunity that I wish I had had. Learn more about specific fields. Make connections with other students and professionals. Importance of soft skills. Make new friends. Help break the glass ceiling. Build my network. Develop mentoring skills. Gain a woman's perspective on working in the engineering field. Support the advancement of WiE, Women in Engineering. Gain confidence. See more women innovators. More motivation. Encourage young women to get their dream job in engineering. Support someone else when they're often the only woman sitting at a table full of men. Share my knowledge about grad school. Be part of the conversation that addresses the engineering gender gap. Learn about the concerns that mentees have. Gain valuable insight into the field. Make the UW experience better for students. Share experience as an old engineer. I like that one. Support diversity and inclusion. Learn about career pathways. Learn how to navigate resume and interview processes. Teach students how to build their existing resume and networks. Encourage diversity in my field. Provide support to young women engineers that I never got. Okay, awesome. I think we got through most of the submissions we received through the chat. That Jamboard looks amazing. Vanessa, excellent typing, and thanks to everyone who was able to get in and access it. I will turn things back over to Maya and Abby, but thank you so much, everybody.
Awesome. I love all the amazing goals. So we're going to go over what, as the mentorship committee, our goals for this program were, and hopefully this is what you get out of this program. So our key thing is just being able to develop those relationships between engineering professionals and women identifying students, and being able to help create a sense of community for our women engineering students here at UW, as well as support you in your time during school and just professional growth, especially, and helping you develop soft skills that you need and bridge that gap. Yeah, these are really the outcomes we're hoping for as well. We really just want you to be able to be connected to the industry and the industry to be connected to you. So the way this program is going to work, it's a 12-month program. And so every mentor-mentee pair is responsible for setting up a meeting each month. On the monthly calendar on the Career Mentorship website, we have suggested topics for each month that you can start off your discussions with. And then at the beginning of each meeting, we recommend just a recap of last meeting's discussions, reviewing any notes potentially, or updates about the progress that the mentee has made on mentor's suggestions. And then at the end of each meeting, just be sure to schedule your next meeting just so that you know when it's happening. We're also going to have 4 group events just like this one. So this is the first of them. We'll also have one in May, September, and December. We're still figuring out the dates and times of those, but those will just be ways for us all to interact together. And then on top of that, we really would love your feedback. So we're going to have mentorship program evaluations each term just to see how you guys are finding the program and how we can improve it both during the program and in the future.
So now we're going to have a second Jamboard, and the question this time is, what makes a good mentor/mentee? So I think it's the same link, and you guys can just go ahead and start adding.
Should be the same link. I'm also I'll post it in there again.
I noticed someone had a quick question about how long UW's been doing the program. This is the first year, which maybe should have been mentioned in the information about how the program's working. So you guys are a trial run, and we're really, really excited for that. We think it's going to go great, but that's also why we'd love as much feedback as possible.
So Vanessa, I'll read out some of the suggestions that we're getting in the chat, if that's okay. So please feel free to type those into the chat or try to access the Jamboard if the link will work for you. So Vanessa, we have active listening. Willing to learn and listen. Coming together to set expectations around communications/time/interests.
I missed the second one. Time.
Time, communications, and interests.
Perfect. Thank you.
Respectful. Communication. Both should benefit from this experience. Empathy. Good mentor equals someone who is willing to listen. Vulnerability. Honest communication. Solid listening skills. Open communication and empathy. Open communication, timely and responsive. Understanding. Being honest and transparent. Friendliness and a keen interest. Open and honest communication. Open mind. Passionate. Good vibes. I like that one. Enthusiasm. Always striving to gain more knowledge. Active participation, listen and learn. Understanding the industry goals. Commitment. Open mind and ears. Someone who is interested and forthcoming. Honest and wanting to build a friendship. No pressure on asking the right questions. Guidance and support, not parenting and handholding. Encouragement. Being proactive. Giving thought out responses. Accepting constructive criticism. Non-judgmental. Relatable, down to earth, and humble. Being resourceful. Being willing to admit fault. Accountability for progress. Inspire and be inspired. Desire to help each other grow. Establish ambitious goals. Respecting time commitment. Genuine interest in mentees' success. Being authentic. Being resourceful. Providing guidance. Pride and ambition. And keeping it interesting. I think that's all that we had submitted through the chat. Great work, everyone.
So thinking also about what our goals are for this program and what we think makes a good mentor-mentee, we want to talk a little bit about the roles and expectations that you guys might have. So in your first meeting, we want you guys to discuss what you want to get out of this program and specifically ask the questions, what are the roles and responsibilities of the mentor and mentee? What does a successful mentoring relationship look like from the point of view of each person? What are the goals for the program that you have together? As a mentee, we want you to think about what skills that you want to develop over the course of this program. And for everyone, what do you hope to gain from this program and what are your overall expectations? We also know that there can be a couple challenges that might arise throughout this whole program. And as a team that we've highlighted a couple challenges that we think could come up for the mentees and mentors respectively. So for the mentees, we know that you might be relying on your mentor to help develop a career for you. As well, you might expect the mentor to give you all of your answers, and you might ask your mentor to do the work for you. You might also expect immediate results, and you might be looking for your mentor for a promotion of jobs or to help you get your next co-op job. As well, we all know that students get very busy, and so there might be issues with canceling meetings at the last minute. On the side for mentors, we know you guys are very busy with your full-time jobs, and so there could be some issues with the lack of time just to make meetings. There could also be some personal problems with overstepping the relationship boundaries. There might be unrealistic expectations that could happen on both sides. There could also be that issue of dependence where mentees might ask you to do their work they might ask you to do your work for them. And finally, there could be some issues with the mentors complaining about their own problems as well. And so we want to equip you with a couple of conflict resolution options. Of course, open communication is key to resolving disputes, and we also have some suggestions below for working through issues. So a couple of reasons for conflict can be contradicting expectations, control issues, incompatible personalities, and a lack of respect and listening. When you're thinking of how to raise these concerns, think about the importance of bringing up the issue and the potential impact there could be of raising the concern. Apologize for what you think you might be doing wrong and think of the issue from the other person's perspective. And finally, communicate what happened and how it made you feel. If someone is raising a concern to you, ways that you can listen to their concern is to address the issue exactly when it occurs, be open to all points of view, depersonalize the view of the conflict as a solvable issue, be clear about the plan to resolve the conflict, and don't blame each other and be accountable for your own actions. As well, if you ever need support or guidance, you can always email the WiE. It was there at the bottom. You can always email us for support. And finally, the next steps from here on out, we would like you guys, as Maya said, to meet at least once a month to establish a relationship and implement the program as the months progress. At the beginning of each meeting, have a recap of last month's meeting, and review any notes that you guys took. As well, get an update from the mentee about any progress made on the mentor suggestions. And at the end of each meeting, be sure to schedule your next month's meeting. And so now we're going to open the floor up for questions.
Thank you so much, Maya and Abby. Mihaela, if you would like to go ahead and turn on your video again, we do have some questions that have come in through the Q&A. So Vanessa, you can stop sharing those slides. Thank you so much. And yes, just I saw a question that came in the chat there. We will be sharing the slides after the meeting and a recording of tonight's event as well. So we will share that afterwards. We shared a link there in the chat also that is a link to our website for the mentorship program. So there's lots of information there, the monthly meeting schedule and suggested topics as well. So it's all online for you. And we'll be sure to email out those links also. All right, and just before we get started with our Q&A, please keep those questions coming in. Please type them in the Q&A using the Q&A button. But we did want to announce our winners from the icebreaker. So we had 5 winners. Great work to everyone who entered the correct answers. But we had Ricky Tejandra, Tessa Costello, Susan Chen, Megan Walker, and Rebecca Ma. So we'll be in touch with you about your little prizes, but congratulations and excellent typing. We have a bunch of fast typers in this group, that is for sure. All right, so let's kick it off. Mihaela, maybe I could ask you this question first, and if our other panelists do want to chime in as well. But it's a question sort of related to what should a mentor or mentee do if they don't receive a response when they email their counterpart?
Yeah, so this is a really tough one. It's a really great question. So I think a lot of times when you are engaging in something that's seen as a volunteer role, you have to be a little bit flexible in terms of expectations and also try to persevere in terms of reaching out to your mentor or your mentee just because you don't quite know what's going on in their life, or you know what they may be struggling with that particular day. So I would say don't be shy on the mentee side to persevere and continue connecting, because likely it's a bandwidth. You know, everybody's got, you know, so many things going on in the digital space these days, that sometimes getting to more personal emails or more thoughtful answers does take some time. So don't get discouraged. And if you're a mentor as well, I think there's a bit of a struggle in terms of how to align meetings or how to align a response in case, you know, you're in an exam period, or some things are happening in terms of interviews and so on. So I think staying positive and being kind of continuing to try to connect is a really good idea, because everybody who volunteered and are here today are really engaged. It might just be a timing issue. And if you still have challenges, do reach out to the Women in Engineering Committee, and we'll try to mitigate some of those discussions in case there's some issue that came up that maybe the mentor or the mentee can't feel comfortable talking about directly with the counterpart. I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Mihaela. No, I think that's a great response and a great point there, that the Women in Engineering Committee is always here to help. So that email address that Maya and Abby shared, WiE@uwaterloo.ca, is the best email to use. And we'd be happy to help reach out or address any concerns or questions that you might have. All right, so maybe a question for Maya. Do you think it's okay to call your mentor when a mentee has a problem that they'd like to discuss? And how should a student or a mentee navigate that?
I think I wouldn't suggest like right off calling them spur of the moment, but definitely reaching out to them and planning a session and seeing if they have some time to chat about it, or even if it's like a pressing issue, just messaging them about it would be amazing. They're meant to be there to help you, and hopefully they can. So feel free to reach out to them and organize other times as well if you're finding other issues coming up you want to talk to them about.
That's a great point, Maya. And I think we've received a couple of questions sort of around that theme. And I think as we saw when everyone was submitting to the Jamboard, it's just important to understand, you know, what your mentor or mentee's availability is and work with each other on that. And also just establish what method of communication you would both like to use. So if you feel comfortable texting and that's the preferred method, then that's great. If email is preferred, also awesome. Zoom, Google Meets, whatever it is. So just establish that early on, maybe in, you know, one of your first interactions, just so you can have that open communication and understand what each other's availability is. Excellent. So Abby, this one's a little bit of a tricky one, but what should someone do if they don't agree with their mentor or mentee about something important? I know you covered off a little bit in some of our contact or conflict resolution slides, but what would you recommend that they do if there's a disagreement?
So like on the slides, we recommended that open communication is key. And I'm always a big person for honesty. I like to tell people what I think. So I would probably recommend, you know, airing that concern out, always keeping in mind to be respectful and understanding that people have different perspectives on an issue. And then of course, if you can't come to a resolution, maybe that mentor is not the right person for you, to come and bring it to us as the WiE committee. We can always try and help you resolve that issue, maybe recommend other ways to work around it, or perhaps, I'm sure there's a way to come to a resolution. People have differing opinions all the time. And so it's just a matter of airing that concern and being the most respectful and approachable with that.
Awesome, thank you, Abby. And Mihaela, we had a question from someone asking how many mentors and mentees we have in the program, and I can help answer that one. There's currently 136 pairings, but do we need more mentors right now? And, you know, kind of how is this pilot program structured? Did you want to answer that a little bit? And I can jump in and help too.
Yeah, I think shout out to Erica, who's on the line, who actually did some really wonderful like matchmaking in the background. So I think maybe, although Erica is kind of on mute, I think we've matched everybody, but I might be wrong. So Danielle and Erica, maybe you guys can comment on that.
No, you are correct. I believe everyone has been matched now. We actually had a couple of extra mentors, so we are just looking for some students to fill those spots. So Erica is working on that in the background, but it actually worked out amazingly well in terms of the number of mentors and mentees. And as we mentioned, this is a pilot program, so we're really excited to run it for this 12-month period. Get your feedback through the surveys that we'll be doing, and any anecdotal feedback as well is always welcome through email or through these group events that we'll be hosting every few months also. Okay, so my question for you, how often should mentors and mentees be connecting each month?
So at least once a month, that's the time commitment we've asked from everyone. If you and your mentor both have the time to do more and are interested in it, that's something to discuss between the two of you, but it's really just a minimum of once a month, and that's what everyone's agreed to put aside the time commitment for.
Okay, awesome. And is there a rule or a guideline on who needs to connect who first or anything like that?
There isn't, so I would really suggest, if you haven't heard from your mentor or mentee by tonight, try reaching out to them and try and make that plan for your meeting in February so you can get to know them and kick off this amazing relationship.
Awesome, thank you. So Abby, can you answer this one, and I can help as well, but are all mentors alumni of Waterloo Engineering?
I don't believe they are.
They are.
I believe okay, they are.
Yeah.
My bad.
No.
So the answer to that question
okay.
is they are all Waterloo alumni. This is a
Yeah.
Waterloo career mentorship.
Yes, we had thought about potentially reaching out to some of our organizations in the area for professional engineers and such if needed, but we had such an outstanding response from our own alumni in the initial call for mentors that we didn't need to go beyond that list. So we thought that was really amazing. Wonderful. Okay, so another question, Mihaela, maybe we could ask you, if someone has an idea for one of the group sessions, like a keynote speaker, who should they contact and how would they go about putting that suggestion forward?
Yeah, so this is actually a very good question as we're planning out the year. So if you have any cool ideas, I would say just send a note to the Women Engineering email, and we would be very, very happy to consider that. I think the schedule for this year is still a little bit in flux towards the end of the year. So yeah, that's a great question. I would say do it early so we can actually look at that and make sure we actually are able to see that in our planning. But Daniela and the team, I don't know if that's a great if that's a good approach, or if you have other suggestions.
No, I think that's a great approach. And as you'll see, if you visit the link for the monthly meetings, the suggested topics, there is a group session like this scheduled every few months. So basically like once a term. And we are looking for content for those, or speakers that you may be interested in us securing or bringing, or if you have a suggestion, we would love to hear those as well. So that would be wonderful. So Maya, maybe a question for you. Would you recommend one way of communication over another? So as an example, like face-to-face when it's safe to do so versus video versus phone or email, what's your perspective on that?
So personally, I think it's really whatever works best for you guys. I personally really like video calls and seeing people's face, but if that's not quite what's working for you, then that's understandable. In terms of like the meeting once a month, hopefully that is over like a video call or a call, or when it is eventually safe to do so later in the year, maybe even in person, just so that you get that sort of interaction. But in general, you can communicate with your mentor or mentee however you guys would like and what works best for you guys.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Then Abby, maybe I can ask you this one, and then if anyone else wants to jump in, can a mentee ask their mentor to be a reference for job applications once they have a relationship established? Is that okay?
I think that's completely dependent on the mentor-mentee relationship. I know for sure, like in the past, when I've had a really close relationship with my mentor, and they've been someone who I've gone to a lot and they know my character really well, I've definitely asked them for a reference, but I think that's definitely a choice that the mentee has to make. Once again, remembering that when you're asking someone for a reference, you're really asking them to put their name out there and support you. So you just want to make sure that when you're asking your mentor for a reference, there's someone who you think knows your character well and will represent you well as well.
I think that's great advice. Thank you. We have a question about how the mentors and mentees were matched. So Mihaela, I don't know if you wanted to give any insight into that, and I can also jump in on how that process worked as well.
Yeah, so I think the matchmaking fairy magic is probably better described on your end. So I would appreciate that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. And Erica is on the line here and she's helping us out with the Q&A in the background. But basically, we had the application forms for both the mentor and mentee, and the pairings were made based first on indicated areas of industry experience or interest. So at least one, most matches had more than one, which was really great. And then secondary considerations were program-based matches as well. So it really worked out well in terms of the areas that were indicated on your application forms. If you have any concerns about your match or any questions, please do feel free to reach out to us once again at the WiE@uwaterloo.ca email address, and we can help address any further specific questions you might have about that. So we had another question on how we'll gauge the success of the mentor-mentee relationship. And I do think that's quite a personal thing as well, but Maya, maybe you could speak to that a little bit from your perspective, and if anyone else wants to jump in on that one as well. But really, how do you gauge the success of a mentor-mentee relationship?
I think it's probably going to be a tricky thing for us. I think a lot of it is really going to be coming from your feedback and how you guys feel you were able to connect with other people and like industry leaders and students respectively, and whether you felt like this program worked well or not. We're really looking for your feedback and how it all goes. So we'd love to hear from you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Maya. And I think, we're going to be doing feedback surveys and getting some tangible data as well, because as engineers, I know everyone likes data and hard numbers. But I think, as Maya said too, like a lot of it is intangible. And, there will be those relationships, for potentially lifelong relationships that develop out of the mentor-mentee pairing, which is really nice. And to have that constant, perhaps beyond the scope of the program, will be something that happens in some situations and not in all. And there's not an expectation that that has to go on, but it may just evolve naturally. I think we'll also be measuring the number of participants who would like to be involved in the program again, and perhaps those students who go on to become mentors in the future once they graduate, because we do hope to continue this program long term. So we'll be assessing metrics like that and tracking that type of data as well. So we're just very excited to be kicking this off and getting started with all of you, and really grateful that everyone's willing to contribute their time to be a part of this program. This is a little bit more of a specific question, but what should someone do if they have to cancel a meeting on short notice? What's the best way to notify their partner in that? Mihaela, did you want to speak to that one?
Oh my gosh, I am guilty of that. Quite a bit, and things do happen, which is very, very often. It's often that things happen, and you can't really meet at the scheduled time. So I would say being respectful, and again, as best as possible, trying to kind of plan ahead is great, but again, when things do happen, just acknowledging right away that, you know, hey, something came up, I'm really, really sorry. I'm going to come back to you with a few other options in terms of rescheduling our meeting, and, you know, being genuine about, you know, what happened in terms of not being able to meet. I think that's a fair, at least that's how I approach it on a day-to-day. So hopefully that doesn't happen too often, but if it does, being genuine and trying to reschedule and follow up is probably the best approach.
That's great advice, Mihaela. Thank you. And Abby, I wanted to ask you a question, and please, everyone, feel free to jump in as well. But where do you draw the line, or how do you feel the relationship should be structured in terms of a professional, personal relationship? Should someone approach this as if it's a coworker, colleague relationship? What's your advice on the mentor-mentee relationship and how you structure that?
I think my advice would be always start off, professional. You don't want to embarrass yourself. You probably don't want to, I'm trying to think of the words. I would just say start off being professional. You don't really know this person yet. You want to build hopefully a very personal relationship where you're able to ask them questions, you're able to pursue your career goals. But I think in the essence of a career mentorship program, you're really looking at more of a professional relationship. And then maybe if perhaps the match was really great, it can become a more personal relationship.
I definitely agree. I think Daniela's comment of like colleagues is a great way of like starting off. Just because oftentimes colleagues do end up friends, but it's also that level of professionalism that Abby was talking about.
Excellent. Thank you, Maya. And we are getting to about the 1 hour mark, and we've gotten through a lot of the questions that we've received. I know that Erica is typing responses there, and I think we've gotten through most of the main questions. Before we sign off, I just wanted to give each of you a chance to give some final parting words, just advice for everyone who's starting on this mentorship journey. I think from my perspective, we're just so excited about this. We are looking for your feedback on an ongoing basis to help make improvements. And I think it's just a really great thing. And it's a real testament to Waterloo Engineering and the strength of our community, how many people are involved in this pilot program. But Mihaela, did you want to leave us with some final words?
Yeah, so from personal experience, I can say that I've always had the benefit throughout my career of relying on very strong mentors. And I cannot stress enough how important that was as part of my own professional experience. So I can really encourage you guys to take advantage of this opportunity. And I would like to really express my gratitude to all of the mentors that are dedicating their time to support some of our young students out there. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for participating. And I really hope everyone gets to enjoy this experience over the year.
Thank you, Mihaela. And Abby, would you like to say anything else, or Maya?
Just this program is here for you guys to learn. And so we really want you guys to reap all the benefits of it. And we're really excited for this event.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Abby. We're really looking forward to you all being able to make these connections and hopefully gain a lot of this experience. And if you ever have any questions or concerns, please come to us.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. And thank you so much to all of our attendees who joined us tonight. So once again, we will follow up with an email. We'll send you some helpful links in there to the program, recording of tonight's session and the slides. Feel free to reach out anytime with any questions, and good luck on your mentorship journey. We hope it's a really valuable and rewarding experience for all of you. Thank you again, everyone. Have a great evening. Take care.